This is one of my favorite new boom arms. Kind of hard to show off on camera. It isn't perfect, and there are some things I would love to see, but outside of the super premium and expensive arms like the Mika lineup from Yellowtech or OC White, this is impressive. So let's go over and see how it took the crown from Røde. Ooh, spicy intro. Now, the tail of the build goes both ways. The body of the boom arm is metal. The joints are as well, but they're capped with plastic, which is fine, and apparently they just snap on, so if you do have to remove them, apparently you can. The clamp, which I think is one of the best, also metal, except for the handle, though I don't think that really matters. And of course you have that riser, also metal. The connector as well, though one odd quirk is that they made the 1/4 inch to 3/8 adapter plastic. I'm not a huge fan of that, but it is a pretty easy replacement if something goes wrong. But everything else about that connector is the gold freaking standard. Now, we saw this on the last gen of the Wave boom arm, including the low profile version, and while it was cool back then, there were some other things holding those units back. On this arm though, it's just a massive deal to be able to pivot your mic in any direction, no matter where your boom arm is attached to your desk. And watch this, you want to reposition your microphone? It's as simple as just loosening it, position, tighten it. Amazing. Now, lastly, the cable management on this thing is vastly improved. Now, those plastic channel covers are pretty cheap feeling and don't inspire a ton of confidence. If you aren't redoing your cabling though, it won't be an issue. For someone like me that might need to, it might be a bit more of a concern. But if you're careful, I'm pretty sure you're going to be fine. Honestly though, it is a huge step up from the original version that had the pinch style cable holder, and even more of an uplift from the low profile version that just, well, sucked. Those magnets were a nightmare. Now, this is the big deal sales pitch for me. If you wanted a low profile, you bought one. If you wanted the standard boom, you bought one. And if you had one or the other and wanted to switch your setup around, well, you couldn't. This is a brilliant swing, pun intended, and something new to the same old boom arm that everyone else sells. This is now the benchmark for all other boom arms to follow in my mind. Basically just take it out of the riser, which I didn't do here, and just bend the arm any way you need it. It's actually brilliant. I love this. Now, there are a couple things I would love to see here. First is a flush mount option for the arm. Not everyone has that kind of clearance under their screens, and sometimes you just need that pivot as close to the desk as possible. Yes, it means possibly drilling holes, but for some it might be a necessity to get this as low profile as possible into their setup. Now, if you're wondering what I'm talking about when I say flush mount, I mean the kind that Røde includes with their boom arms. Now, next, and I know this is a big ask, but this middle joint, be nice to have it on another axis pivot, just so it can go back and forth. Now, this is one of the benefits to actual low profile boom arms, and I know it can be done, but we'll see. By the way, if you haven't seen the Wave Mic Arm Pro, let me know if you want to see that review. Elgato does seem to be working with me, so that might be fun to get hands-on with. And lastly, cabling through the base and through the desk. Now, this does have the same drawback of drilling through your furniture, but I mean, if we can get that flush mount, there's no harm in asking, right? This is one of those hope and a prayer asks though. I get that. Now, this is one of those specs that people really tend to forget about. The weight capacity on these boom arms is super important, especially as the value of the thing suspending from it goes up. The more weight a boom arm can hold is just extra security against something happening to that super expensive piece of gear hanging off the end of it. Well, this is a decent step up as this mic arm gets a bit of an upgrade from the first model, as it can take 2.6 pounds over the 2.2 offered by the Mark I. So let's put this side by side with the Røde PSA 1 Plus to see how they stack up. From a pure build perspective, I do have to give a nod to the PSA 1 Plus, as I feel like it had less on it that was plastic. It seems petty, but after years of use, wear and tear can really be an issue on these things. As for cable management, the Elgato wins. But there is a caveat here. You see, the Røde does have the ability to route the cabling through the body, then down through the flush mount. Now, Big caveat here, as you do need to be the level of nerd that makes your own XLR cables. Now, Dylan and I are those types of people, but it is kind of handy if you have a build that isn't going to be changing up anytime soon, or at least often. Now, onto that connection. While Røde went with pure build quality and aesthetic, which is cool, that joint isn't perfect, and the limiting factor of only one direction of pivot is, I mean, it is the standard for how all boom arms have been made to this point, but just that connector on the Elgato is literally the chef's kiss. Now, as for mobility, arguably the most important spec here, the Elgato also takes that easily. Something I'm hoping to see more companies start to look at by creating a boom arm that is more than just one thing. So it's pretty clear up to this point. I think this is one of the best booms on the market at this price point, though I do hope that we can see more development between the professional series and the consumer series so we can see a bit less of a gap between them. Now, I know it's the least sexy thing to spend your money on as a content creator or someone who just wants a decent boom arm, but with some of those broadcast options costing well over 3 to 4 times the cost, I'm sure we can start to challenge those options. No? I mean, this is a great start. Let me know what you think down below though. Cheers guys, and thanks for watching.